Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel. I'm Anjali. Today in this video, I'll explain how to write an array to a file in Python. These are the methods that I'll explain in this video to write array to a file. I'll explain this using basic file handling, using NumPy, and we'll see how to write an array to a JSON file and how to write a multidimensional array to a file. Before we start writing arrays to files, let's understand why we need to do it. When we create an array in Python, it exists only while the program is running. Once the program ends, the array and its data are removed from memory. If we want to keep the data for future use, we need to save it to a file. It allows us to reuse the data in another program, and we can also share it with others, or we can use it later without creating it again. Writing arrays to files is a common practice in data analysis, machine learning, automation, and many real-world Python applications. Let's start with first method, that is using basic file handling. Using Python's basic file handling functions is one of the easiest ways to save an array to a text file. We simply open a file in write mode and write each element of an array into it. This approach is suitable when you are working with a simple Python list and want full control over the file format. Let's see an example for this. Our first line is monthly sales values. Sales is equals to, in square brackets in the list form, we have 5 different values. In this line, I create a simple Python list which will store the monthly sales values. This is the array we'll save to the text file. Next line is with open sales.txt and then w as file. This line will open a file named sales.txt in write mode. If the file doesn't exist, Python will create it automatically. If it already exists, its content will be replaced. Next line is for value in sales. We use this for loop to access each value which is stored inside the array one at a time. File dot write of f value backslash n. Here I write each value into the file. The slash n here adds a new line after every value so that array elements appeared on separate line in text file. Finally, I print the confirmation message to indicate that the array has been saved successfully. For this, I have used print function and array saved successfully message I have print. Now let's run this code. We got only successful message telling that array is saved. After running this program, a file named sales.txt is created. If we open that, each array elements are stored in separate lines. You can see here. This method is simple and it works well when you want to save basic Python list as text file. Let's see the second method, that is using NumPy. In the previous method, we used basic file handling and wrote each array element one by one. If we are working with numerical data stored in NumPy array, NumPy provides much easier solution. Using NumPy.saveText function method, we can save the entire array to text file with just one line of code. Let's see how to do this in an example. First line is import NumPy as NP. I have imported NumPy library because I'll use its built-in function to save the array. Monthly temperatures are temperatures is equals to np dot inside array function we have passed a list. Here I have created a NumPy array that stores monthly temperature values. This is the data we'll write to a file. np dot save txt temperature dot txt and we have passed temperatures variable and fmp parameters. We'll see what is this. This line saves the entire NumPy array into text file called temperatures.txt. Unlike the previous method, we don't need to loop because save.txt writes all the values automatically. The fmt parameter here controls how the number are written to the file. %.1f here displays each value with one digit after the decimal point, making the output much easier to read. It means we'll consider only one decimal point. And then finally, I'll print a message to confirm that the NumPy array has been saved successfully. For that I've used print function and I'll tell NumPy array saved successfully. If I run this code, you can see the successful message has been printed. After running this program, a file named temperature.txt will be created. If I open that, we can see all the array values stored one below the other. Since we used fmt is equals to %.1f, each value is displayed with one decimal place. This method is simple and efficient way to save NumPy arrays without writing each element manually. Let's see the third method, that is write an array to a JSON file. In previous methods, we saved array to text files. Another common option is to save the array as a JSON file. JSON stores data in a structured format, making it easier to read back into Python, share with other applications. Python provides the built-in JSON module, so we don't need to install any additional libraries. Let's see an example for this. First, I import the JSON module, which provides functions to read and write JSON files in Python. That line is import JSON. In the next line, I have created a simple array that stores the marks of 5 students. The variable is marks and it is storing the 5 different values inside list. With open function marks.json, w as name we have given file. This line will create a file named as marks.json in write mode. If this file already exists, its content will be replaced. If it is not created, it will create a new file. In this line, json.dump function writes the entire array into a JSON file while preserving its structure. We don't need to use a loop because the function handles the complete array automatically. Finally, I'll print a confirmation message indicating that the array has been saved successfully, and I've used a print function for this. If I run this code, you will be able to see a successful message. Let's find where this file has been created in our folder. You can see the file here. If I open that, we can see that the array is stored in JSON format while keeping its original structure. This makes JSON a good choice when you want to save data or use in the other applications. Our last method is writing a multidimensional array to a file. So far, we have worked with 1D arrays. However, in real world applications, data is often organized in rows and columns, forming a multidimensional array. NumPy allows us to save these arrays directly to a file while keeping their structure, making them easy to read and useful later. Let's see an example for this method. First, I import the NumPy library because we'll use it to create and save a multidimensional array. That line is import NumPy as NP. Here, I create two-dimensional NumPy array. Each row represents a student and each column represents marks obtained in a subject. Variable is marks, and by using np.array function, I have created this 2D NumPy array. Next, np.savetxt student marks.txt marks variable and again fmt parameter we used. I will explain what is this. This line saves the entire array into text file called student marks.txt. The fmt parameter here formats each value as an integer, making the file neat and easy to read. Finally, I'll print a confirmation message to indicate that the array has been saved successfully. Let's run this code and we'll be able to see the successful message. And after we run this program, a file named student mark is created. Let's see where it is. Here it is. And if you open it, we'll be able to see the data stored in rows and columns just like original array. This makes it easy to save and work with tabular data such as dataset, matrices, or spreadsheet-like information. In this tutorial, we explored 4 different ways to write arrays to file in Python. We started with basic file handling and then using NumPy for numerical arrays, saved arrays in JSON format, and finally we worked with multidimensional arrays. You can choose the method that best fits your data and application. I hope you understood all the methods and examples that I explained in this video. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel.